It's time for March Madness. Whether you're playing in a small office pool for fun or a large contest with big money prizes, there are certain mistakes you want to be sure not to make when filling out those brackets. I'm going to count them down for you in this video. Hi, I'm Jack from Unabated. I've been a professional sports bettor for over 20 years. Before I was beating casinos and sports books, I was getting an edge over friends and coworkers in office pools. Of course, the big one each year is the NCAA men's basketball tournament, the March Madness bracket. Everybody makes a bracket. You've probably filled out a bracket in the past, and you'll probably do it again this year.
If your goal is to make money over time and to take advantage of any edges you have, you should be playing in more pools.
That's Jason Lisk from PoolGenius.com. They design tools to maximize your edge in March Madness pools, and he's one of the best experts I know of bracket strategy. I just got done chatting with him, and he's going to be helping me explain to you how to avoid some of these key mistakes. Starting off at number 5 on our list of bracket mistakes is trying to pick too many upsets. Those of you who watch my videos on winning at sports betting know that there's often value in betting underdogs. However, when it comes to bracket strategy, if you're in a small pool with family and friends, you just need to accrue as many points as possible. You'll get more wins overall going with a higher ranked seed. However, if you're in a larger pool, you'll need some luck in the form of upsets. I'll let Jason explain.
I'll give you some examples. We'll use Connecticut last year, right? A team that won the championship game. Connecticut won it as a 4 seed, but were in the betting market one of the top 8 teams to win the title. Still, only 2% of the public was picking. So leveraging a risky pick on Connecticut title winner is a good risk to take in a large pool. You're getting good pot odds. But if you took a scatter approach and picked a bunch of teams to the Final Four of low seeds, of underdogs, you're in essence increasing the likelihood you miss most of them. And so you really want to concentrate your risk.
You heard Jason mention the betting odds there. That's something that a lot of people ignore when it comes to picking their bracket, and it's worth paying attention to. In fact, it's mistake number 4 on our list, ignoring betting odds.
Yeah, I think it's a big mistake that a lot of bracket pickers make is they don't look at the betting odds. I know if you're coming at this from someone who has a gambling betting background, that seems inherently obvious to you, but it is not obvious to most bracket pickers. You'll have a lot of people that do not gamble on other things. So you might have some that are just simply unaware of betting odds. You also have plenty that are IKB type people. I know better, right? They'll be like, I don't care that team, that the market says that team is a good chance to win the title. Usually it's because of some biases. Maybe it's because that team failed the year before. We don't know how Purdue will be picked in 2024, for example, but the fact that they lost to a 16 seed is probably going to impact how likely people are to trust the betting odds on them. People will have those biases and let it impact and not pay attention to what the betting market says. And obviously the betting market is more robust than people throwing $10, $20 in the office pool.
The NCAA tournament is not a tournament of the top 68 teams in all of college basketball. There are some automatic bids and other qualifications that sometimes skew the seedings. It's important to look at what the betting lines are on the first round matchups so you can see where a number 9 seed might be favored over a number 8. Or a number 7 versus a number 10 might be closer than you think. A quick glance at an odds screen, like the one we have at Unabated, could help you tremendously in finding bracket value. Another mistake people make when filling out brackets is failing to adjust their strategy for the scoring in their pool. That's the number 3 mistake on our list, ignoring the scoring. Here's Jason to explain.
Yeah, scoring absolutely matters in pools, and people that don't pay attention to that will be at a disadvantage when they play their pool. How you should pick your pool depends on your incentives. If you get more points for an upset, you should be thinking more in terms of picking upsets. If you get a lot of points for the championship game relative to every other pick, you really should be focused on who should my champion be. If you have flat scoring, you should be thinking about maximizing your points early in a contest. All sorts of scoring rules apply here, and so you really need to look at them. There's all sorts of fun variations, seed-based scoring, seed difference, upset bonus, all sorts of types, and all of them lead to different strategies.
Most people play a traditional bracket pool where you get 1 point for a first round win, 2 points for a second round win, and scoring escalates as you go deeper into the tournament. In that case, the overall champion is going to carry a lot of value. If your scoring is relatively flat, as Jason pointed out, you'd want to maximize your points in earlier rounds where the matchups are more lopsided. Know your scoring and factor that into your planning. Coming in at number 2 on our list is being fooled by trends and biases. I asked Jason what trends people typically fall for.
It's obviously a big mistake that people make is they think in terms of a trend. And one trend is like that. Purdue lost last year. They can't win the national title because they haven't done it or they failed. And history is just full of examples that show that to be a foolish approach to take. In 2019, Virginia won the title. Coming off the year, they were the only number 1 seed at that point to lose to a 16 seed and were underpicked the next year as a national champion. Duke won the title in 2010 and they won it again in 2015. In between, they were upset in the first or second round every year, and they failed out. People tend to pick based on recent past performance. I would expect teams that played well in the tournament last year to draw more interest, and teams that failed out earlier than expected to maybe have some biases against them.
Avoiding the trap that last year's results factor into this year's tournament is key. It will also help you gain an edge over your competitors in a pool that might think this way. But even stronger than trends are hometown biases that may present themselves in a more local pool.
It's a mistake to not consider how your opponents are going to pick. If you know, let's say you're in a Kansas City area with a bunch of KU fans, you're going to win more money over time if you leverage against their tendency to pick their team more heavily than other pools would. And you just have to know on the years when Kansas wins the title, like 2022, you're not going to do well in that pool. However, if like last year where they were a number 1 seed and lost in the second round, and Connecticut was the number 4 seed with a decent title chance, if you would have played against that pool in the Kansas City area against KU alums, you would have had a huge leverage advantage taking a team that had very similar actual title odds. But knowing that once Kansas lost, you probably wiped out a large chunk of your pool from the competition.
Consider what teams your opponents might be high on and look to fade them going on a deep run into the tournament. When it works, you have a great swing against your opponents. And the number 1 mistake to avoid in filling out your bracket is literally the number 1. Don't fill out just one bracket. Look to diversify your brackets and the types of contests you enter.
If your goal is to make money over time and to take advantage of any edges you have, you should be playing in more pools. If you're not doing so, that's a mistake. March Madness only comes around once a year and it's pretty volatile. Any given year, you could flame out. You could have the national championship in a year and do really well. The more brackets you play, the more contests you enter, you'll reduce some of that volatility from year to year. The year one of your brackets fails out, you may have others that you played kind of alternate scenarios that are doing well. Maybe you like to pick a lot of upsets. Picking a lot of upsets is generally a mistake people make, but that depends on your pool type and your rules. For example, there are some pools out there where you get points for the seed number of the team you pick. So if you pick a 10 seed to go far, you get 10 points every time they win. It's very attractive to pick upsets in that pool. If you diversify the types of pools you play, you can actually have different types of picks within the same year. Then you're not trying to time the market on what kind of year it'll be. And so it's a good way to balance how you play and have something at stake throughout the NCAA tournament every year.
Do you agree with these tips, or is there something we missed? Feel free to continue the discussion in the comments section below. If you're interested in some other ways to make money at sports betting, you should check out this video. It's about making money by finding risk-free opportunities in the betting markets. I'll see you in there.